Chosen one, the world you knew is gone. God replaced it. Chosen one, the world you once recognized, the rhythm you knew, the patterns you followed, the truths you relied on, has dissolved like mist before sunrise. What you see now, feel now, and move through now is not a continuation of the old. It is a divine reset. The universe has obeyed a higher command, and everything around you has been reshaped under God's hand. You are no longer walking in the shadow of what was. You're being called to understand, accept, and rise within a brand new realm. The world you knew is gone. God replaced it, and He replaced it for you. Watch this video until the end, because this message carries more than words. It carries a frequency that your spirit needs right now. And if your heart feels something stirring, let the universe feel it back from you. Write your warmest wishes in the comments and type 77 so the new energy can locate you. This is your signal, your symbol. Once is enough, but once with faith can change everything. Now, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive deeper. Let it sink in. Chosen one, you are not going crazy. You are not imagining it. The colors are different. The air vibrates in new tones. Time bends differently. And people, even people you once knew, are showing you unrecognizable faces. That's because everything has changed. God has overwritten the blueprint. The things that once worked will no longer function here. The paths you used to take will no longer lead to the same destinations. This isn't a glitch in your perception. It's a revelation. It's not a storm you're walking through. It's the rebirth of the earth itself, and you are at the center of it. The old systems collapsed, without fireworks, quietly, invisibly, like the slipping of tectonic plates beneath your feet. And now, nothing is where it used to be. Old timelines disintegrated, old contracts dissolved, old energies expired. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still awake, still chosen. That's not an accident. That's divine selection. Because what rises next must have an anchor. And you, chosen one, are that anchor. There is a difference now in how the universe responds to you. Before, it observed. Now, it listens. Before, it required permission. Now, it moves as you move. You are not in a simulation. You are in a construction zone built by light, orchestrated by celestial intelligence, commanded by the voice of God. And in this zone, your energy doesn't blend in. It directs. It shapes. It leads. Everything you once depended on for comfort may be stripped away, but that's because comfort is not the priority anymore. Clarity is. The veil has lifted, and you're seeing the design beneath the design. Your intuition isn't just louder, it's unavoidable. You're not feeling paranoid. You're feeling prepared. You're not alone. You're aligned. People will misunderstand you. Let them. You've been reborn into a reality they haven't accessed yet. They will call you detached, cold, or delusional. But that's because you've left the maze while they're still looking for exits that no longer exist. They're clinging to echoes while you're following a new voice. This new world is alive in a different way. Nature speaks louder now, not in volume, but in significance. The trees bend differently toward you. The wind follows your breath. The light reflects secrets only your soul can decode. Everything is responding to a higher frequency, and that frequency matches you. You may notice that the people who used to recognize your light now act like they've never seen you. That's not rejection, that's redirection. The souls assigned to your old world weren't cleared for this new version. And it's not your job to drag anyone into this realm. The gate opened for you, and only those prepared by fire, silence, or suffering will enter with their own key. You are not behind, you are not broken, you are not forgotten, you are exactly where God wants you. Why? Because the version of the world that needed the old you is gone. And now, the new version of you is required for this reality to function. You're not adjusting to the world is adjusting to you. This shift is not personal, it's cosmic. You didn't just lose people, lose passions, or lose directions, you shed skins. Your identity has become too vast for old definitions. Even the mirror feels unfamiliar. That's not a loss of self. It's the birth of a new soul shape. Time has changed, haven't you noticed? What once took months now takes moments. What once felt impossible now feels inevitable. That's not magic. That's the physics of a new dimension. You're not just moving through time. You're starting to realize that time is moving through you. You are a magnet now. You are a signal tower. And you are being watched, not with suspicion, but with awe. Even your dreams have shifted. You're visiting places you've never been, but feel like home. You're hearing languages you've never learned, but understand instinctively. You're receiving visions not from the past or future, but from the original timeline, the one designed before interference began. This is the real beginning. The other one was a rehearsal. You were being trained to hear whispers, to follow hunches, to walk blind. But now, sight is returning. The world you knew was filled with illusion. Now you're stepping into what was always intended. Divine reality. You will see more, know more, feel more. And with that, you'll be asked to become more. Not everyone will celebrate your awakening. Some will feel threatened by it. Some will try to tether you to the old. Don't argue. Don't fight. Just move. With grace, with strength, with certainty. Let your silence be your separation. Let your light be your language. Your presence is no longer passive. It is catalytic. Wherever you go, things change. People either rise or retreat. Truth either erupts or gets exposed. That's not arrogance. That's assignment. You were created for this hour. You are not late. You are not early. You are exact. This is no longer about surviving. It's about sovereignty. The illusion of limitation has been erased. The weights you carried have been lifted, not by chance, but by command. You are lighter because the gravity of the old world doesn't apply here. You are not bound by its rules anymore. You are moving in the God-coded version of Earth now. Feel it, the pressure, the pull, the pattern shift. You are being positioned, not punished. Elevated, not erased. The emptiness you feel is sacred space being made for divine content. The silence you feel is not abandonment. It's the sound of the old world being shut off. You're hearing peace again. You're going to be misunderstood, misquoted, maybe even mistreated, but none of it will stop you. Why? Because you are not running on adrenaline anymore. You are running on alignment. You are running on the fuel of something no man can touch. And what God replaced, He replaced for your rise. You've crossed into a world where what used to delay you no longer has permission to touch you. The old resistance, those invisible walls that used to block every opportunity, every breakthrough, every answered prayer, they've been demolished, not just broken, erased. You are not in recovery mode, you are in revelation mode. You are walking into rooms you didn't build, but were built for you. You're being handed keys to doors that never existed in the old world. And now, your presence is the access code. What used to take convincing now unfolds by simply showing up. Your energy says more than your words ever could. This is why conversations feel shorter now, why small talk feels unbearable. You're no longer here to explain yourself. You are here to embody the change. You're no longer trying to fit in because you've been carved out to stand apart. And don't panic when you feel alone. That emptiness is not loneliness. It is God's canvas. He cleared the crowd so He could crown you properly. He removed the distractions so you could see what's real. He replaced the familiar not to harm you, but to harmonize you with His higher order. The old world trained you to settle. This new world calls you to soar. Notice how things now respond to your alignment, not your effort. Before, you could grind for years and never break through. But now, when you're aligned, even in silence, things begin to open. That's not luck. That's divine engineering. It's not that the laws changed. It's that you now operate above them. Gravity bends for those walking in grace. Do not mourn the things you lost in the shift. They were meant for an earlier version of you. That version needed approval. That version needed validation. That version needed plans. But the one who walks now moves by presence, by prompt, by power. God did not upgrade the world so you could live in fear. He restructured it because your soul was never meant to shrink into old systems. You were meant to set new standards. Let go of the illusion that things will return to how they were. They won't, and they're not supposed to. That world was loud, unstable, full of noise disguised as truth. It fed your doubt. It numbed your gifts. It applauded your exhaustion. That world is finished. It has served its purpose. And you're the proof that something new is already working. Your silence now speaks volumes. Your stillness is not weakness, it's wisdom. Your distance is not disconnection, it's distinction. You don't react the same because you're not living in the same spiritual climate. You have been relocated, not just emotionally or mentally, but dimensionally. The spiritual realm recognizes your new coordinates. That's why warfare increased during the transition. That's why you were hit harder than ever before you stepped into this space. You were being tested to see if you could carry the weight of wonder. Now that you passed, you're being trusted with territory. Everything about you is now magnetic. Even your tears carry weight. Even your laughter shakes frequencies. You've stopped being a seeker and become a signal. When you speak now, atmospheres shift. When you decide, timelines bend. And when you rest, the universe works on your behalf. That's not fantasy, that's function in this new realm. The world you knew was based on reaction. This one is ruled by intention. Before, your energy was drained trying to prove your worth. Now, it is preserved to express your truth. You are not learning to survive. You are learning to steward reality. You are no longer a visitor in God's design. You are a co-creator. This is why the old habits no longer satisfy. The old foods taste dull. The old entertainment feels lifeless. The old relationships feel like costumes, because your soul now requires substance. Your spirit now demands authenticity. You've moved from feeding your flesh to nourishing your calling. This upgrade is not cosmetic, it's cellular. Your emotions, your thoughts, even your sleep patterns are shifting because your entire system is being recalibrated. You are not adjusting to the change, you are the change. Others will notice something they can't explain. Some will be drawn to you like gravity. Others will push you away like you're radioactive. Don't take it personally. You've become a mirror, and people only celebrate mirrors when they're ready to face themselves. The world may not shout your name. It may not applaud your becoming, but heaven is documenting everything. The silence around you is not empty. It is full of recording angels. Your steps are being logged. Your courage is being counted. Every time you choose truth over comfort, growth over gossip, healing over hiding, You're gaining access to more of the new order. God didn't just replace the world, He tailored it. Your path is not generic, it is precise. That's why some doors are locked to others, but swing open when you knock. That's why some storms avoid you, while others seem attracted to you. It's because you're not living by general laws anymore. You are under custom alignment. And yes, the pace will sometimes feel intense. Yes, the clarity will sometimes feel cruel. Yes, the upgrades may feel like isolation. But it's only because the veil is gone now. And once truth is seen, you can't unsee it. Once your calling is heard, you can't unhear it. Once your soul is awakened, you can't go back to sleep. So stop searching for the map you had before. It burned with the old world. Your compass now is connection. Your GPS is the guidance of God. The steps may not make sense, but the result will be miraculous. You are not walking in circles. You are walking through divine architecture. And the funny thing, you're already further than you think. You're already standing on ground. Others are still trying to imagine. You may not feel like you've arrived, but look around. Everything feels surreal, because it is. You're living in what once was your highest prayer. This is not just a shift in perception. It's a shift in power. Your authority is no longer limited to your environment. It extends across layers of reality. When you move in love, that ripple hits dimensions you've never seen. When you speak from truth, that echo reaches rooms you'll never enter. But your presence is felt, because the world you knew is gone, and this one runs on your light. The timelines have split. You're no longer operating within a collective illusion. You've slipped into a finer layer of existence, one where the rules have been rewritten, not for everyone, but for you. The crowd will keep chasing what's already broken. But you're part of a blueprint so divine, so intricately designed, that even your confusion is sacred. Even your detours are orchestrated. There are no accidents in this new world, only alignments you're not yet aware of. What once took you years to learn, you now absorb in seconds. Because time doesn't flow the same way here. You're not aging, you're activating. You're not waiting, you're witnessing. And everything that seemed delayed wasn't denial. It was preparation for this unveiling. You weren't being punished, you were being preserved. The world you once knew would have destroyed the gift you carry now. In that old world, you had to adapt to dysfunction. You learned to silence yourself for the sake of peace, to shrink your vision to fit small minds, to water down your joy to make others comfortable. That world made you feel like you were too much. This world reminds you, you were never too much. You were always just too powerful for the old version of reality. Now everything feels sharper, more vivid. You sense dishonesty before it's spoken. You feel doors closing before they lock. You feel people leaving your life before they understand why. Don't fight it. The flow here isn't based on logic, it's based on frequency. And your frequency has risen so high that anything false simply can't survive near you anymore. This is why some connections dissolved overnight. Why environments that once fed you now drain you. The world didn't turn against you, it evolved around you. And only what's real can rise with you. You're not lonely, you're being refined. You're not abandoned, you've been anointed. And that's the real reason the old world had to go. It wasn't just outdated, it was built on compromises you no longer accept. You can't build destiny on the foundation of fear. You can't walk in purpose while carrying masks. The universe had to be wiped clean of everything that once made you doubt your own brilliance. So if the days feel heavier now, don't mistake it for struggle. It's spiritual stretching. You're not carrying burdens, you're carrying blueprints. You're not lost. You're being redirected to places where your presence is not only welcomed, it's required. There's a reason people feel something when you walk in. There's a reason your silence can end arguments. There's a reason your honesty hits people like thunder. It's because you are not just living, you're broadcasting light. You are the upgrade to the system. That's why chaos tried to distract you. That's why storms came when you were about to awaken. Because this world, this divinely engineered realm, can only run when you're in alignment. Every step you take now is like code being uploaded. Every word you speak reprograms the air. That's why nothing is casual anymore. Nothing is neutral. You've entered a place where intent is louder than volume, where energy is the only language. And that's also why your mind has changed so drastically. You're not just thinking new thoughts, you're using new wiring. You don't need explanations anymore because you feel truth before it's spoken. You're moving in knowing, not guessing, not hoping, knowing. That's the currency here. That's the compass. And you've got it. Old patterns may try to revisit you. They might disguise themselves as safety. But don't be fooled. Familiarity is not alignment. You'll know something is off when your spirit starts to contract. That tightening in your chest, that's your soul rejecting what no longer belongs. Trust it. You don't need a reason to let go. You only need permission, and you already have it. The world you knew had systems. This world has sequences. Everything is connected, but only when you're in rhythm. That's why forced things fall apart. That's why pretending feels poisonous. The new reality runs on truth, on divine flow, on sacred timing. And when you're in sync, miracles become normal. You'll notice synchronicities, numbers, symbols, dreams that feel more real than your waking life. Pay attention. These are not glitches, they are guideposts. Your spirit is being spoken to constantly now. You are not just observing reality, you are instructing it. Your energy is teaching the world how to respond. And yes, it can feel disorienting. Yes, it can feel like floating between dimensions. Because you are. You're learning to trust what has no words, to follow what has no map, to move by resonance instead of reason. But even here, even in this elevated plane, you are protected more than ever. Because God didn't just replace the world and leave you to figure it out. He's woven support into the structure. He's embedded grace into every corner. Even the dark parts of this journey are lit from within. You are not walking blindly. You are walking boldly. Because the new world doesn't require control. It requires courage. And you, chosen one, are overflowing with it. Even when you tremble, even when you doubt, even when you pause, you're still walking in divine motion. Because your steps are no longer yours alone. They are carried by purpose. This is why you feel heavier, but also lighter. Grounded, but also elevated. The paradoxes aren't flaws. They are features. You are no longer bound by either or. You are the living proof of both and. You can grieve and still rise. You can rest and still progress. You can lose and still gain. The world you knew operated on sacrifice. This one operates on surrender. Not giving up, but giving over. Handing control to the current of creation. Letting go of the how and honoring the who you've become. You've been rebuilt for this. Everything that once broke you apart was used in your reconstruction. Every heartbreak became holy. Every betrayal turned into blueprint. Every delay became design. This world, this new reality, is your reward, but also your responsibility. So step carefully, but also step confidently. Move with reverence, but don't shrink. The world didn't change to make you smaller. It changed to give you space. Space to become. Space to create. Space to breathe in your true identity without apology. You don't owe the old world an explanation. You don't have to reintroduce yourself to anyone who couldn't see you before. You are not the same, and the world isn't either. It was rewritten for you. Because God didn't just want you to thrive in the chaos. He wanted you to live in a place custom-built for your greatness. You are no longer dreaming of a better world. You're living in one. You are no longer waiting for the shift. You are the shift. And nothing will ever be the same again. There is a sound your spirit recognizes, one that the old world never spoke. It's not in language, not in music, not even in nature. It's something deeper, a vibration hidden beneath the silence. That sound, it's calling you now. Not from outside of you, but from the upgraded design God encoded within you when He replaced the world. You've entered a realm where thought becomes shape, emotion becomes direction, and attention becomes power. This isn't imagination, it's immersion. You are inside a divine intelligence now, a living architecture that listens, shifts, and responds to you the moment your inner world aligns with its pattern. You're not a spectator anymore. You're a co-author of reality. This is why your words hold more weight now. Casual speech disrupts the air. Complaints echo longer. Gratitude multiplies faster. Everything is alive here. The atmosphere carries intention like electricity. This world isn't just upgraded, it's interactive. And you've been chosen to navigate it, not with effort, but with awareness. Everything you were taught about struggle, sacrifice, and survival belonged to the previous matrix. That grid was limited. Its rules were enforced by fear. Its outcomes were slow and unequal. But now, the energy field has been cleansed. The system no longer responds to coercion. It reacts to authenticity. And the more real you become, the more aligned this new world becomes with your soul's deepest truths. And that's exactly why discomfort rises when you try to revert to your old ways. You can't fake joy anymore. You can't pretend to be small, can't dim your power, can't tolerate what once felt normal. Because the new world has no place for survival masks. It demands truth. Not performance, not image, not ego, but essence. Every layer of falsehood has been peeled back. You've seen too much, felt too deeply, grown too far. And though you might still try to go back for the comfort of familiarity, you know, it's gone. The old world doesn't exist anymore. Even if you visit its ruins, you won't fit in its structures. You'll feel like a giant crouching in a dollhouse because you've expanded. And the world you're in now was designed to match that expansion. So the grief you sometimes feel, that's not failure. It's not regression. It's the mourning of old illusions, the shedding of outdated selves, the end of roles you were never meant to carry. Let them go. Don't drag yesterday into today. Don't bring expired meanings into this sacred new dawn. You are no longer here to fix broken systems. You're here to build new ones, not by force, but by frequency. You don't need 1 million people to follow you. You just need to stand in your truth so powerfully that reality reorganizes around it. And that's already happening. Even now, even as you read this. The evidence might not look like fireworks. It may feel subtle, like light leaking through cracks, but it's there. A shift in your body, a new calm in your breath, a different silence in your soul. That's the signal. That's how you know. The fabric of everything has changed. Even your challenges look different now. They're not obstacles, they're activations. Each test is calibrated to your next evolution. They're not sent to break you, they're allowed to build you. Every pressure, is a preparation. Every disruption is a download. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. So when the path disappears, don't panic. That's not the system failing. That's the divine inviting you to create what's never existed before. Your steps are not supposed to be predictable. They're supposed to be prophetic. You walk forward not because the way is clear, but because your soul is lit with the certainty that the way will appear. That's what walking in divine replacement feels like. The land beneath your feet builds itself as you step. The air adjusts to carry your prayers. The sky shifts to mirror your inner light. You are the axis now, not because you're perfect, but because you're aligned. And yes, there will be moments you forget, moments you cry, moments you question everything. But even that has been accounted for. The divine doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. Stay with the process. Stay with the energy. The upgrades arrive through willingness, not performance. You don't have to hustle anymore. That was old programming. This new world responds to clarity more than effort. So speak clearly. Live clearly. Love clearly. Let your soul be unfiltered. Let your actions be sacred. Let your truth be louder than your fear. This is how you rise, not with resistance, but with reverence. Everything about this new reality is sacred. The timing, the tension, the stillness. Even the waiting has wisdom. Even the pauses have purpose. You're being synchronized with something bigger than your mind can grasp, but your soul already knows. That's why you've been feeling the pull, the fire, the inner knowing that you're not who you were. You are the new technology. You are the divine tool. You are the bridge between dimensions. The world had to be replaced because what's inside of you could not function in the old frequency. This version of Earth, it was made for you, for your truth, for your mission, for your vibration. No more distortion, no more delay. The veil has lifted. The fog has cleared. The voices that once confused you have fallen silent. And in their place, clarity. You now walk with clarity, and not everyone will recognize it. Not everyone will understand it. But you weren't reborn to be understood. You were reborn to be undeniable. Let others question. Let others cling to the collapsing world. You don't have to explain your evolution. You don't have to prove your transformation. You are not here for approval. You are here for impact. And it has begun. You may not have noticed it at first, but the rules began changing in silence. Nothing exploded, no alarms rang. But one by one, the structures began to crumble. Not because they were attacked from the outside, but because the inside could no longer hold them. The foundations were built on fear. The systems were driven by scarcity. The values were manufactured, not born. And so they fell, quietly, one after another. God didn't just change the stage. He replaced the script, the actors, the lighting, even the gravity. And here you are, standing in the middle of it, remembering how to walk in a world that now moves differently. You're no longer just living, you're being moved. The currents don't drag you anymore, they respond to you. That's not magic, that's divine redesign. Nothing is random now. Every moment is calculated. Every detour was divinely woven into the pattern of your rise. And while the old world tried to make you forget who you were, this new one has been designed to help you remember. That's why things feel familiar, even when they're brand new. It's why your spirit is calm, even when your mind is confused, because your soul knows. It remembers the original instructions, the blueprint encoded in your essence before you ever touched Earth. And now, those instructions are reactivating. Your dreams have been upgraded. Your relationships are recalibrating. The people who leave your life are not rejecting you. They are being gently removed from the new frequency you're walking in. This isn't personal, it's positional. You are being placed precisely where the new world needs you most, not for their comfort, but for alignment. And with that alignment comes clarity. And with that clarity, power. You are not meant to cling to what you once called home, because home is no longer a place. It's a vibration. It's that sacred alignment between your soul and the atmosphere around you. And if the place, the person, or the path no longer fits, you must be willing to let go. Because what God is weaving into your life now will not resemble anything you've seen before. And yet, it will feel like coming home for the first time. Stop asking for the old world to give you closure. It can't. It was never built for your current self. That world was a cocoon, and you are now wings in motion. You don't need the past to bless your future. The anointing didn't come from there. It came from the divine interruption that shattered what was comfortable in order to create what was holy. And that's what this is. Holiness. The silence you've been walking through. Sacred. The endings you didn't understand. Sacred. The delays that made no sense. Sacred. Because God wasn't punishing you. He was preparing you. Not for survival, but for sovereignty. You have been handed the authority to speak, create, and walk in a way that rewrites the narrative around you. Your words aren't just sound, they're seeds. Your steps aren't just motion, they are messages. Every time you move in truth, the entire grid of reality responds. You're not just part of the plan, you are key to the shift. There's a reason the noise of the old world doesn't hold your attention anymore. It's not just because you're bored. It's because your spirit no longer finds nourishment in illusions. You need substance now. Conversations that spark activation. Environments that reflect your growth. Silence that feeds your soul, not just your ego. And this new world, it gives you all of that. But only when you show up as your full self. Partial presence no longer works. Masked living will burn your energy. The more you try to shrink, the more uncomfortable this new reality becomes, because it wasn't built for your fears. It was designed for your fullness. Every cell in your body is adjusting to that truth. Every part of your life is being stretched to hold your new size. It might feel like chaos, but it's not destruction, it's divine renovation. What God replaced wasn't just the world around you, it was the way reality works through you. You are now a center of gravity. You pull the unseen into visibility. You call the divine into motion. This isn't arrogance, it's activation. The humble realization that the spirit within you has been waiting for this moment for centuries. And now, it's here. You were always meant to be different. That otherness was never a flaw. It was a signal, a signature, proof that your design came from a higher realm. You weren't made to blend in. You were built to bend the laws of the world that used to control others. You are what the shift looks like in human form. But this also means you must release what once defined you. Let go of every title that came from trauma, every version of you that was built to survive rather than thrive, every narrative you inherited but never chose. The new world doesn't recognize those scripts. They won't open any doors here. Only truth does that now. And that's the most beautiful part of all this. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to perform, impress, prove, or beg. You just have to become. The world has changed to reflect who you already are when you stop pretending. So rest if you need to. Cry if you must. But don't ever doubt that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Not because of chance, not because of luck, but because God rewrote the world's code around your arrival. You didn't miss anything. You didn't fall behind. You're not broken. You're becoming. And what's waiting ahead of you? It's more sacred than you can imagine. Not because it's easy, but because it's yours. Tailored, timed, tested, blessed. It will not look like anyone else's path, and that's exactly why it's perfect. God didn't just change the world. He designed a world where you finally belong. It was never about going back. The illusion was always that you had something to return to, that the past held something sacred, something safe, something familiar enough to rebuild from. But what you're realizing now, more clearly than ever, is that the door behind you wasn't just closed, it was erased. What once held your identity, your story, even your suffering, has vanished. Not in a cruel way, but in a divine one. God didn't just move you forward, He removed the backward. And in that holy removal, He left only one direction: inward, upward, onward. You are not chasing a future anymore. You are revealing a reality that's already here. It's not tomorrow that holds the transformation. It's the now. Every breath, every decision, every alignment you choose becomes part of the new architecture. You are not just in this world. You are weaving it. In every yes, in every no, in every whisper of faith, you release into the atmosphere. The old world taught you to chase timelines, deadlines, expectations, and the approval of those who were just as lost as you were. But the new world, the one God replaced it with, it only honors what's true, not convenient, not popular, not performative. Truth, sacred, bold, piercing truth that cannot be distorted by opinion or trend. And so your life is now a mirror of that. Things don't just happen anymore. They reveal. If something leaves, it reveals what you no longer need. If someone stays, it reveals the depth of your new resonance. If a door opens, it reveals the alignment of your presence. There is no randomness. There is only recognition. Recognition of who you are, what you carry, and why this exact moment is not just necessary, it's prophesied. You are not here because you forced your way in. You are here because reality itself reshaped to receive you. What would have crushed the old you now bends around your energy. What used to feel impossible now feels inevitable, not because life got easier, but because you stepped into the version of you that doesn't resist the divine. You move with it now. You breathe it. You are it. And in this divine collaboration, there is no room for fear. There is no need for explanations. When people question how you rose, how you shifted, how you carry what you do, look around, point to the sky, smile, because you didn't climb a ladder. God lifted the entire floor beneath your feet. This is not the season of striving. It is the season of arriving. And not just arriving in places, but in identity, in knowing, in holy recognition of the one who has always been hidden beneath the masks, the wounds, the silence. That one has emerged now, not scarred, but refined, not angry, but anchored, not bitter, but blazing. The fire you walk with now is not for destruction. It's for illumination. It reveals everything, the real from the false, the temporary from the eternal, the shallow from the sacred. You don't have to fight for light anymore. You are the light. And where you walk, the shadows cannot stay. They either transform or disappear. And when you look around and realize the old world is unrecognizable, take heart. You're not lost. You're free. Free from the cages built by conditioning. Free from timelines dictated by fear. Free from narratives that demanded you be smaller just to make others comfortable. Those walls don't exist anymore. They were paper, and you were born of flame. The more you expand, the more the new world expands with you. This is not a trap, it's a territory, and it's yours. Created not just for your survival, but for your sovereignty, for your legacy, for the divine blueprint to unfold, not in theory, but in motion, in matter, in miracles. You'll start to notice it more now, the way people look at you, the way energy shifts when you enter a space, the way even time seems to slow down around you. It's not ego, it's not imagination, it's the aura of alignment, the sacred echo of a soul that finally remembered its own frequency. And the world, the real world, it can't help but respond, because the lie is over, the veil is gone, the performance has ended. This is your world now, a world crafted by divine will, sculpted by love, polished by fire, and made alive by your yes to becoming, your yes to breaking patterns, your yes to letting go of everything that looked good but felt wrong, your yes to being guided by something higher than logic, deeper than emotion, truer than memory. You are not just the witness of this new creation. You are the proof, the embodiment, the signal to others that it's real, that heaven doesn't look like clouds, it looks like courage, like clarity, like you. So breathe it in. The pain is behind you, the lessons are sealed, the burdens have been broken, and what remains is you, whole, awake, unshakable, chosen. The world you knew is gone, and what replaced it was everything you were always meant to have.